Welcome to Echoes International podcast, with teaching, interviews and stories of what God is doing straight from the mission field and also within the UK. For more podcasts, stories and opportunities to get involved, check out our website at echoesinternational.org.uk and our other social media channels.
Nice to be with you. We've heard a lot of stories from all over the world. And one thing I appreciated about Josh, being the new generation of missionaries, you can tell that he's got a full head of hair. He doesn't need glasses, and he doesn't need notes either. So, a world in crisis, who cares? And I've brought it down to a kind of Zambian level. I'm not saying that in a despising way of the Zambians. When you think of the worldview of crises, there's plenty of crises as you look around. There's earthquakes, volcanoes, natural disasters, people migration. These are all crises in people's life. Brexit was a crisis, and the very one we're going through now is probably the biggest of them all. And am I allowed to say that word? It's been said once or twice already, the coronavirus, and it's affecting us all. So these are all crises, and if you think about the Lord Jesus, when he was with the disciples in the boat, he was sleeping, and a crisis came upon them, and there was water coming in the boat, and the disciples were in crisis. They were panicking, and all along they hadn't realised that the answer to their problem was right there with them in the boat, and the Lord Jesus himself, the creator of the wind and the waves. And they finally went to him and wakened him and says, "Lord, don't you care that we're perishing?" And of course he cared, and he stood up and showed them that he cared within an instant. And they were amazed at what happened. And I think we miss the point sometimes. Yes, there is crisis around. We've heard wonderful reports. And yes, the answer is there, but the God of this world has blinded the people of this world to the answer and to the one who really cares. Welcome to Zambia. We've got that just now. Can I use this clicker? It's not been working too well. Right hand side, okay. I'm not very good. Okay. Just in case you notice anything different about this picture and me, it was taken with my collar up, I just noticed. But that was just done on Monday, and I won't blame Nathaniel. And I'm a wee bit disappointed because everyone else appears with their wife, but me, she's a wee bit camera shy, so she's very happy not to be in the picture. But anyway, welcome to Zambia. This is the mighty Zambezi River that I'm standing in, and this was a crisis, and it's still ongoing in Zambia just now, is the lack of water. The lack of rains last year brought this on. Now, this is what it should look like when it starts raining. And this crisis is still going on because of all this rain. Still hasn't been enough to go around the country. This is the Victoria Falls, or as it was last year about July, August, the Victoria Walls. And this is usually pounding with water. It's 111 metres from top to bottom. And there's a small bridge there on the left where people get soaked as they walk across there. And that's just dry. And I've never seen it as bad. There's a crisis of water. So much so that a lot of people, including me, had to dig wells in their back garden. I've been in Africa for 33 years, and this is the first time I had to dig a well to get water because there's no water. The Chingola Bible Centre is in the middle of town. Now, Marlon and I have been involved in the Chingola Bible Centre for the past 15 or 16 years or so. We set it up. That's what it looks like inside. I put that big sign outside because there was someone came in after we'd been open for 13 years. "Oh, I didn't realise you were here." I said, "Okay, I'll make sure that you don't miss the sign." So it's just a converted house in the middle of town, and there's 2 grass shelters there. mainly for the students around town who want a quiet place to study. So I built these two places so that they can do that. The Zambian families are usually large and they live in smaller homes, and there's always plenty of noise and not very much quiet if they want to study. The Chingola Bible Centre has got a small bookshop. Although it's small, excuse the pictures. Jonathan was no, it wasn't Jonathan. Yes, it was Jonathan. He mentioned about your presentations needing a wee bit brushing up. He'll be encouraged when he sees mine. This is a small. I was used to slides and the magic lantern, but some of you don't even know what they are. This is a small bookshop, and when we moved into the place, we didn't realise that we were going to be involved with a bookshop at all. I'm not a great reader. My wife is, but we got the bookshop going, and today there's about 20,000 Bibles a year that are sold from this bookshop to the local people. Our aim is to get affordable Bibles into the hands of local people, and that's one of the most important things we think we can do. And where do the Bibles come from? Opal Trust supplies us with about 80% of our stock, and probably a bit more, and we're very thankful for them for all the work that they are involved in sending out Bibles. So please pray that they'll keep going. Was that a good enough plug there, John? You'll find their wee stall out in the corridor there. They're great guys. So, and although I'm doing all the speaking here, I'm really just the tea boy. My wife is the one who does all the work, all the organisation. You know what it is, and I just do as I'm told. And she does a great job. One of the main things that we do is visit prisons, and we use Emmaus Bible study courses with the prisoners. 90% of the students that we have doing the Emmaus courses are prisoners, and we visit about 7 prisons on a 3-week rota. So that means visiting 2 prisons on a day, because it's usually Thursday when we go visiting prisons. I'm not allowed to take pictures inside the prison. This is a picture of the outside of one of the prisons in Ndola that we visit. And these are 2 or 3 of the workers that come with us. You walk through these doors, you'll find plenty of people in crisis. And it's great to sit down with those who are doing the courses. We correct the courses, or well, the folks who work with us. We have about 8 of our staff that help us run the Chingola Bible Centre. They spend most of their day marking Bible study courses, which is helpful to them. And then we sit down on a one-to-one, going through the courses, going through the wrong answers that they've had, so we know where they stand in their knowledge of the scriptures. The officer here, he became a Christian, or he was a backslider. He came back to the Lord after going to a GLOW course that I got him introduced to. And he's a great guy, and he's very helpful. His name is John. Out of the 7 prisons that we visit in different towns, the biggest one is in Campbell, and that has the maximum prison, the medium prison, and the ladies as well. And these guys are in there for heinous crimes, crimes that I can't mention, but they are in there for 20 or 30 years on condemned row, and they are hungry for the Word of God. When I go there, they teach me, and I come away encouraged. And they're really wanting to study the Word of God, and they use the Emmaus courses as a vehicle to study the Word and learn for themselves. And it's great to go and visit them. Marilyn and I go into the ladies as well, and there's young ladies in their 30s that are in there. And it always touches my heart, but there's a good number of them doing the courses in there, because these ladies are as young as my eldest daughter. in mid-30s, and I thought, wow, this could be my daughter. And they're in there for 20 years for what they've done. But it's great. They're always smiling and they're always keen and they love to studying the Word. So it's great to encourage them. Up at the markets, every week we go to the markets and we do lay-bys. Lay-bys, we take 25 or 30 pence off them each week towards buying their Bible. And we go around encouraging them. But there's plenty of people in crisis there at the market too. Here's a young girl who should be at school. She's selling water just to put bread on the table. The old lady with her crowbar, that is a crowbar she's using. She's mashing up roots to sell for various food preparations. She should be retired, but there's no social security or pension, so she just has to keep going to make ends meet. We do have opportunity to move around with the Bible van there, and we set the stall up on the van so it's sheltered from the elements. And we use that up at the markets that we visit, and we also use it for conferences in the dry season as well. And it's a handy mobile thing to move around with. We have opportunity to share off the back of the van as well. Nathan there, he is a converted Jehovah's Witness, and he really loves preaching and teaching to those who come to him at the van on market days on a Tuesday. Chisengo there, she's chatting away to one of the ladies on her stall. And when they get their Bible, after saving up for 2 or 3 months, you can see the big smiles on their faces. That's genuine, because they've really been trying hard to get a Bible. Whereas there was a friend who came out and visited, and he saw the big blue trunk I had. He says, "What's in there?" I says, "Oh, it's full of Bibles. That's lay-by Bibles." Lay-by Bibles, what's that? So I explained that these, what we were doing. He says, "Do you mean they can't afford to buy a Bible?" I says, "No, they're poor people. Walk," he says, "away. I'm going to buy them. I'm going to pay off their lay-bys." And so he did. The box was full of about 150, 160 Bibles. And I had the privilege then of going around the following week to give them their Bibles and tell them that their debt has been paid, which gives us the opportunity then to tell them of a bigger debt that's been paid, of their sin, and you get a good opportunity to tell them about the Lord Jesus as well. So nowadays, that was a few years ago, nowadays they're asking me, "Ian, is your pal coming back soon?" so, and then we've had gifts in the past that have been earmarked to help poor people buy Bibles. Now, there's a lot of poor people there. And I can tell you a story that happened when we were visiting in England 3 years ago. There's an old lady, Mrs. Turner, who sent us a gift for this. And I went to her house. I couldn't find the house. She was in the middle of a forest area. And I got lost in the wrong direction. And it took me about 15 or 20 minutes to find her house eventually, a wee house right in the middle of nowhere, really, with no mobile signal. I got to her house, knocked the door, and here she came to the door, 91 years of age, and she was in heart failure. And I explained to her what. She says, "Oh my, what a surprise." I says, "I've just been preparing another wee gift for you." And I just about collapsed on it. And it was like the Lord had said, "No, it's not time for you to get there yet. You just take a wee wander there and get lost." And by the time I got there, she'd finished preparing her gifts and gave me a big envelope full of notes. And she said, "Make sure this goes through the Lord's Work Trust so I can get my gift aid on it now." And we've used her gifts to help poor people. We have to be careful because they all claim to be poor. And we, in the spirit of Mrs. Turner and the age that she is, we look for older people especially to try and help them out with a Bible that's free, because that was her stipulation. We have opportunity to visit 1 or 2 smaller assemblies. This was one's in an area called Banamakubwa. It's a church plant from a assembly that we visit in Ndola too. They're doing the Emmaus courses as well, and this is just a small assembly set up in a new area, and they're waiting for the people to come and build houses, and some of them are doing so. So they're right there on the doorstep to help them out. Youth work, we've been involved in youth work for many years. They love playing volleyball. The ones who are not so energetic, we give them board games or crafts, but we always finish with a wee word to encourage them. Baptisms, we had 11 of our youths go through the waters of baptism last year, which was very encouraging too. Singles, 18 years and over, and you're not married, we have singles once a month to spend the afternoon. We have a meal together, and we select topics we think are going to be helpful for their age group. And in this occasion, we have Joe Grove and taking the ladies here, and Steve Grove. They did a 6-week session, or it was 6 months because it's once a month, on purity, and it was very good, and we were really all benefited from their teaching there. So please continue for young men and women who have left school. Some of them left university. They're not sure what the next step is. We're trying to keep them on the straight and narrow, as it were. Senior singles, and these are all ladies apart from me. Marlon takes these ladies and they come round to our house and we have a meal with them, and they really have a heart to go and visit those who are less fortunate than them, or those that are struggling perhaps, and it's become a visiting group. So once a month they choose who they're going to visit to encourage. And on this occasion they visited the Pushkilo and they wanted to feed them. That's the orphanage just round the corner from where we live. Philip and Deborah Cole are the ones who are really running that. And here they are cooking the nshima. Oh, that looks like rice. And these are the kids, all smiles, ready to eat. Friday fun. On a Friday afternoon, I teach a number of the ones at the Pushkilo, plus one or two of the youth from the assembly, how to play the guitar. And it's also a platform to speak to them on spiritual matters as well. And it's a nice time to spend with them during the afternoon. And they're getting pretty good. Elvis there in the middle, that's his real name. Elvis, he's really taken to it, and he loves his guitar. And wee Rose there on the right, that's just the right size guitar for her. She's a lovely wee girl, and she's learning well. The day that they can play as good as me or better, I'll be the happiest man on the planet. I teach them from the mission praise as well, which is handy, because that means they're able to play at church as well. Wednesday night Bible studies with the expatriate ladies. Marlon spends time there. That's at our house too. They don't always have a big spread like that, mind you, but I'm fortunate in that they do leave me one or two leftovers now and again. But they have a great time on a Wednesday night. One or two of them still not saved, so still pray for the ladies on a Wednesday night. So after 21 years or 12 years in Congo, or Zaire as it was then, 21 years in Chingola, we feel that the Lord has been asking us over the past few years to move to Lusaka. Now, when I was in Congo, I lived in the village. No running water, no electricity, no phones, no TV. It was like the bush. And that was fine. The Lord moved us on to a small town in Chingola. So that was okay. Now he wants to move us to the big city, and I'm like, no, please. And it's not like big, like Jonathan was telling us about. It's just the usual big city, capital city kind of problems. But last year, we found this plot that's been circled nicely by Nathaniel there, and you can see just in this corner here, there's a space there, and that's where we want to build the Lusaka Bible Centre and start all over again. Now, I do feel a wee bit like Caleb, although I'm not 85 before you start asking. I do feel a bit like Caleb in that I'm not as young as I used to be. I'm not 35 anymore. And although I have been used to practical things all my life, we feel, I feel it's going to be a big challenge, but the Lord has kind of been kind. And there are 2 dwelling places on the plot, and a wee office and a wee gatehouse. So we're kind of halfway there. There's electricity there sometimes. That's one of the other crises in the country, because 90% of the electrical power is generated through water, through the waterfalls in various parts like Victoria Falls, Kariba Dam, Kafui Gorge, Musonda Falls. They're all generating power. Now, because of the lack of rain, there's not enough water to go through to run the turbines, so we've been having power cuts from 6 hours to 16 hours a day. So you get going with the generator. So these are all wee challenges that we have to face. But this is our big challenge, our next big challenge. We hope to go back to Zambia in July. And when we get there, we'll have to be doing some planning permission and building control, go to all the different offices, change of use, to be able to then start organising the building of the Lusaka Bible Centre. The Chingola Bible Centre will continue to run. We've been training up the staff there over the years, so please pray for them. They're used to us telling them what to do. Now, they're not so used to telling themselves what to do, so there's a bit of a challenge there, and it's a big responsibility for them to take on. So you can pray for them with that transition. We are working alongside them just now, but when we move down to Lusaka, we won't leave them totally. We'll still be there to encourage them to keep going, and I'm sure they will find it difficult, but we have confidence that they will be able to take on the work while we are spending more and more time down in Lusaka. This will not happen quickly. This will take about 2 years to get the thing built. Things are not as fast in Zambia as they are in the Philippines. By the sound of it, they would have a skyscraper up there by the time July came, I'm sure. But we will be going back to try and organise that and get folks in to help us with the building and get it built. After that, get stock in, and then train staff as well to help us with the running of that as well. This is a kind of ground level. Where that foundation is there is where we hope, although that's not, that foundation will have to come away. We'll have to build a bigger one there to accommodate the building of the Bible Centre. And these are 2 small houses that we will be able to use for staff housing eventually, or even for ourselves while we are down there travelling backwards and forwards from Chingola to get the building up and running. Of course, I brought my notes, I didn't even read them. It's, well, I'll be honest, it is a challenge. And I do, I'm thankful that I have my wife with me as well to get on with this. She's an architect, as most of you know, so the planning of the building and whatnot will be done okay, I'm sure, of that. So that's a whistle-stop tour, if you like, of what we've been doing and what we hope to be doing in the coming days, coming months, the coming years, if the Lord tarries. And we're looking forward to moving down to Lusaka eventually, and there'll be a whole load of different challenges there as we think ahead, but we know the Lord has gone before us, and He will lead and guide, as He always has done. This plot here, we just finished paying for that, or the Lord just finished paying for that, just in January. Amazingly, the way that he provided for this. So that was a great encouragement, and it's going to be a big step, and we're going to get there with the help of the Lord. So thanks for listening.
We hope you're encouraged and inspired and ready to answer the call. Thank you for listening.